Hello everyone, welcome to the Valley News Now Network for some sports overtime to kick off your Monday. Duke Schindler here with you on the desk this fine Monday afternoon as we take a look at what's going around the area in terms of sports, and no better way to start than Coach Polasek and those NDSU Bison. Now Coach Polasek was very much interested seeing how this team would respond to a big game, especially coming off a bye facing South Dakota, who want to put another L on their schedule, especially after they've done what they've done these last two seasons. But these Bison were not letting that happen for a third straight year. Go ahead, check it out. They had that taken personally. If you heard me during the pregame show where I talked about my prediction, I said it was going to be a big Bison win and they would take an early two-score lead. Far more than that, really. 51-13 whomping of the Coyotes, and another masterful game from Cole Payton. 14 of 18, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that was just through the air. On the ground, 109 yards and an extra touchdown added. So that makes it about, 5 last week, 3 this week, 8 in these past 2 games. So that makes it 8 touchdowns, like I mentioned, but that defense is what really came out and showed out for the Bison. Only allowing 3 points through these 3 quarters, and that certainly was enough to get this one to the finish line. Now a 50-burger on homecoming after the bye week versus a ranked Yotes team. I mean, Coach, how'd you feel coming off the bye?
I was a little bit concerned about the bye week. Just would it take us a quarter or something to get ready, and then all of a sudden it's a game. Our intent in preparation and the look that we had in that run through last night and this morning, I really felt really good about the way we're going to start this game.
And not to mention another fantastic game from Bryce Lance. Quiet in his first couple games yardage-wise, but a huge factor these last 2. 98 yards and a touchdown through the air for Lance here against USD, and they're covering him like prime Randy Moss out there. Coach, I mean, how do you feel about the attention that Lance is grabbing for your team?
The impact that he's having on coverages right now is I've never been part of a passing offense in my entire career where one guy is shifting and tilting the secondary, and that's going to pay dividends for us.
So a huge win for NDSU. And while on the other side of the pond, the Vikings, they were in Dublin, Ireland to face the Steelers here. And a bright and early kickoff for Minnesota, seeing if they can recreate some magic they had last week. But it certainly did not start out the way they wanted it to. Early couple scores from the Packers, including Kenneth Gainwell on the touchdown here. And then a backbreaker. 7-3 Steelers, and off a blown coverage, a slant to one of the fastest guys in the league, DK Metcalf, who's off to the races. No one's catching him for 6. Minnesota on their heels early. And what happens next didn't help the cause. Wentz tipped, picked off by TJ Watt. Incredible awareness on that. Turnover Vikings. Steelers capitalize. Kenneth Gainwell, hopefully you didn't play him in fantasy. That's another touchdown for him. Rumbling and stumbling, 21-6 Steelers. The defense would clap down, and it was go time for Wentz. He had 2 tip picks, but a dime to Xavier Scott. Xavier with a Z on his first career touchdown. Vikings aren't dead yet. Defense holds. Wentz in the end zone. Out route to Naylor. It's a 1-score game. Last breath for Minnesota. They got it back at 4th and 18. Wentz looking over to the middle, but plenty of Steelers there to tip the pass. That's game in blouses. Steelers sack Wentz 6 times en route to the dub. Vikings also lose 2 linemen to injury, including Brian O'Neill and Ryan Kelly. KOC, what do we think?
You're asking guys to step in there. You're asking guys to, play against some premier players for sure, and try to use the game plan as much as we can, at least as a starting point. And then from there, and we were, trying to piece it together a little bit to move the ball and account for some things in the second half, which I thought Carson did a really good job kind of handling. We get the explosive to JA. You don't get in the end zone on that play, and you're trying to get a play off. And there's just sequences and parts of our offense that maybe there's an answer, but it's down the line. And
Pretty telling words from Kevin O'Connell there. Obviously looking for some answers on offense, and if you've watched these first 4 games of the season, you've certainly kind of realized that there's something missing with this offense. We'll see if KOC can get them right next week as they take the L. Then it's the Lynx, who are also on their heels, down 2-1 in a winner go-home game versus the Phoenix Mercury. And after that Game 3 loss, Cheryl Reeve was suspended for her comments post-game on officiating, as well as star player Nafisa Collier out with an ankle injury after Alyssa Thomas stole that ball at the end of the game, ended up colliding with her leg. She ended up rolling her ankle in the final seconds. So could they make it a game against Phoenix here? Well, it started off great early. There's your assistant coach taking place, as well as Fee right there you can see in the boot. Lynx go up big early in their absence, feeling a little juice from last night. Here's Courtney Williams on a nice little stop, pop from the midi. Yep, mid-range, it's a layup if you grind. Then Jessica Shepard, bully ball down low for 2, but Phoenix catching a jolt from the home crowd in the 4th. Thomas with the spin cycle, nasty to the rim trimming the lead to 6. 1-point lead now in the swing. DeWanna Bonner splash. Mercury grabbed the lead, then way downtown is Bonner again. If water is wet, there's your proof. Could the Lynx cover the lead? McBride on one here, as she had a 30-point game herself, making it a 1-point game. But then here's your dagger. AT with the bag work all the way to the dish. The Lynx get upset in the semifinals. We did not predict that here. Unable to make it to the finals in crushing fashion. Tough loss for the Lynx there. When you lose your star player, you can only ride off the vibes there. The Lynx kept it close for quite some time, all the way to the buzzer. However, they do get eliminated from the playoffs. That's going to do it here for your Sports Overtime. Duke Schindler on the desk. We want to remind you, if you got a smartphone or mobile device, the Valley News app, that's going to be available. Make sure you download that. Stay on top of whatever Valley News Now is doing here, as well as if you have a smart TV right behind me, download that app on Roku, Apple TV, or Fire Stick on Amazon. Thank you very much for joining Sports Overtime here. Duke Schindler. We'll catch you later.